I mean, I had a beautiful wife, Emily, and a sweet 12-year-old daughter, Lily. We lived in a nice suburb, had great jobs, and our friends envied what seemed like the perfect family life. But looking back, the first signs of trouble were subtle. It started with Emily becoming more distant, late nights at the office, sudden business trips that seemed a bit too frequent. At first, I chalked it up to stress at work, or maybe she was trying to get that promotion she'd been eyeing for years. I tried not to pry, thinking I was being supportive. Then came the little lies. Emily would tell me she was meeting a friend for dinner, but her phone would show messages from some guy named Ryan. I brushed it off, thinking maybe Ryan was just a colleague or someone from her book club. But the seeds of doubt were planted. Our once lively home grew tense. Arguments over trivial things became more common, and the love we once shared felt like it was slipping through my fingers. I started noticing the way Emily would subtly flirt with other men at social gatherings, and the way she'd laugh a little too hard at their jokes. It was confusing and hurtful, but I kept telling myself I was overreacting. Little did I know, things were about to spiral out of control in ways I couldn't have imagined. A few months after Emily started acting distant, I got a call that shattered everything. It was Mike, one of my closest friends from college. We hadn't talked much lately, just the occasional text here and there. I answered, expecting the usual catch-up nonsense. "Jake, man, you won't believe this," Mike said, sounding genuinely excited. "I saw Emily the other day at that new Italian place downtown. You know, the one you always go to on Friday nights? She looked different." My heart skipped a beat. Emily and that restaurant? It was our spot. We'd been going there every Friday for years. Different how? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Like, she was with another guy. They looked pretty cozy, if you know what I mean. I couldn't believe it, so I took a picture. I thought you should see it. Mike sent me the photo, and there it was, Emily laughing, arm around a guy I didn't recognize. My stomach churned. I felt a mix of anger, betrayal, and confusion. Was this really happening? Had the signs I dismissed been red flags all along? But that wasn't the worst part. When I tried calling Emily that night, she didn't answer. The next day, things got even stranger. I went to pick up Lily from school, and my car was blocked in the driveway. The front door was wide open, and inside, it was a mess, papers everywhere, Lily's clothes scattered, and a note pinned to the fridge. "Jake is dead. Take care of Lily. Emily." I couldn't believe it. My wife, the woman I trusted with my life, had lied to everyone, made them believe I was dead. And if that wasn't enough, there were rumors floating around that Emily was trying to marry off Lily to some wealthy guy she'd met recently. It was like something out of a twisted soap opera. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. How could she do this? Why would she go to such lengths to ruin my life and our family? My mind raced with questions, and the anger bubbled up inside me. This wasn't just infidelity anymore, it was sabotage on a whole new level. When I decided it was time to face Emily head-on. After discovering she'd lied about my death and was trying to set up Lily with some rich douchebag, I knew I couldn't just let this slide. I needed answers, and I needed them now. One evening, I walked into our house, the place that once felt like a sanctuary, only to be a battlefield now. Emily was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone like nothing was wrong. Lily was upstairs, probably oblivious to the drama unfolding below. "Emily," I started, trying to keep my voice as calm as possible, which was easier said than done. "We need to talk." She looked up, her expression switching from casual to defensive in an instant. "About what, Jake? I thought everything was fine." "Oh, come on," I snapped, unable to hide the fury in my voice. "You told everyone I was dead. You tried to marry off Lily to some random guy. What the hell is going on?" Her eyes narrowed, and she put her phone down with a dramatic sigh. "You're being paranoid again. There's no reason for all this. Maybe you just need some space." "Paranoid?" I nearly yelled. "You faked my death, Emily. How do you even come up with that bullshit?" She stood up, towering over me, her tone dripping with venom. "I did what I had to do. You were never really there for this family. Always working, always distracted. Maybe Lily and I needed a fresh start." I felt like I was punched in the gut. A fresh start? By lying to everyone and manipulating our daughter? "You're insane." Emily laughed, a cold, bitter sound. "Insane? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm better off without you. You're not the husband or father I thought you were." At this point, Lily came downstairs, sensing the tension. "Dad, what's going on?" she asked, her eyes wide with concern. Before I could respond, Emily shot me a withering look. "Nothing for you to worry about, sweetie. Your dad and I are just having a little disagreement." I could feel my blood boiling. "Disagreement? You've destroyed our lives, Emily. You need to fix this right now." She rolled her eyes. "Fix it? I don't think so. Maybe it's time we go our separate ways. For Lily's sake." That was the last straw. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. "Fine. If that's how you feel, I'm done trying to make this work." As I stormed out, I could hear Emily laughing sarcastically. "Good luck, Jake. You're going to need it." Standing in the parking lot, the weight of everything hit me. My wife, the mother of my child, had betrayed me in the worst possible ways. But as I walked away, a spark ignited inside me. This wasn't the end of the story, it was just the beginning of my plan to reclaim everything she'd torn apart. Little did Emily know, my revenge was already in motion, and it was going to change everything. So after that heated confrontation with Emily, I knew I couldn't just sit back and let her ruin everything we had built. My mind was racing with anger, betrayal, and a desperate need to reclaim my life and protect Lily. But where to start? How deep had Emily's deceit gone? First things first, I needed evidence. If Emily was lying about my death and trying to manipulate Lily's future, there had to be some digital breadcrumbs to follow. I decided to dig into our shared accounts and devices. It wasn't exactly ethical, but I was beyond rational thinking at this point. I started with Emily's phone. After a bit of snooping, I found a series of text messages between her and Ryan, the guy Mike saw her with at the Italian restaurant. They were steamy, full of promises and plans that went far beyond innocent flirting. There were even some explicit photos that left no doubt about their relationship. This was the smoking gun I needed. Next, I turned my attention to our social media accounts. Emily had been meticulously crafting the narrative that I was dead. She posted pictures of funeral arrangements and updates about how she was coping. Friends and family were reaching out with condolences, all of which I had to dodge and deny. It was humiliating, but I couldn't let her get away with it. The most shocking discovery was hidden in our shared email account. Emily had been corresponding with someone named Marcus, planning Lily's future. There were discussions about potential suitors, financial arrangements, and even legal documents to transfer custody. She wasn't just trying to manipulate Lily, she was actively orchestrating her own agenda, with Lily as a pawn. With all this evidence in hand, I felt a mix of vindication and a burning desire for revenge. But revenge wasn't going to be simple. Emily was smart, conniving, and had already started playing her own game. I needed to outthink her at every turn. I decided to start by rallying the people who still believed I was alive. Mike was the first to respond positively when I called him again, this time with undeniable proof of Emily's deceit. Together, we started reaching out to other friends and family, showing them the evidence and slowly unraveling the web Emily had spun. But Emily wasn't going to go down without a fight. She started spreading more lies, claiming that I was unstable and that all the evidence against her was fabricated by a jealous ex. It was a battle of truths and lies, and I had to stay one step ahead. One night, as I was going through more of Emily's plans for Lily, I stumbled upon something that made my blood run cold. Emily wasn't just trying to marry off Lily to some rich guy, she was planning to relocate us to another state, effectively cutting me out of our daughter's life forever. This was the final push I needed. I began orchestrating my own plans, reaching out to a lawyer to nullify any custody arrangements Emily was attempting to set up. I also started documenting everything meticulously, knowing that this battle was going to be long and messy. But revenge wasn't just about legal battles and exposing lies. I wanted Emily to feel the same pain she'd inflicted on me. I started small, exposing her lies publicly, ensuring that everyone knew the truth about her deceit. Then, I took it a step further by leveraging social media to highlight her manipulative behavior, turning the tide of public opinion against her. Unexpectedly, things started to escalate. Ryan, the guy Emily was cheating with, reached out to me, offering more information. Turns out, he wasn't just a fling, he was involved in some shady business dealings, and Emily had been using him to siphon money from my accounts. This revelation added another layer to her betrayal and gave me even more ammunition to use against her. As the pieces fell into place, I realized that Emily had been planning this for a long time. Her lies weren't just about our relationship, they were part of a larger scheme to take control of everything. But I wasn't going to let her win. Every unexpected twist only fueled my determination to bring her down and reclaim my life and my daughter. After uncovering that Emily was not only cheating but also siphoning money from my accounts through Ryan, I felt like I was hitting an all-time low. But instead of sinking further, this revelation became the catalyst for everything else that was about to unfold. First off, I decided to confront Ryan directly. I set up a meeting at a local cafe, figuring it was the best way to get straight answers. When Ryan walked in, looking nervous but trying to play it cool, I knew this was my chance to get to the bottom of his involvement. "Ryan, we need to talk," I started, cutting straight to the chase. He looked like he wanted to run, but I held his gaze. "I know everything, Jake. Emily wasn't just having an affair with you. She was using you." I leaned back, taking it all in. "Using me? How?" Ryan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "She convinced me to help her with some side gigs, stuff that wasn't exactly legal. She needed the money for her trips, her lifestyle, things you know, Emily stuff." My blood boiled. "So, all those late-night transfers and the mysterious expenses? She was stealing from me?" "Yeah," Ryan admitted. "At first, I thought it was just extra cash for her adventures, but then it got out of hand. She started pressuring me to go deeper, and I couldn't keep up. I left when I saw how far she was going." I felt a mix of anger and disgust. Emily wasn't just unfaithful, she was manipulating and exploiting both me and Ryan. This was beyond betrayal, it was criminal. With this new information, I knew I had to escalate my game. I contacted the lawyer I'd reached out to earlier and started preparing a case against Emily for financial fraud and manipulation. But I didn't stop there. Revenge wasn't just about legal battles, it was personal. I decided to leak some of Emily's shady financial dealings to the media anonymously. It was risky, but I wanted everyone to see her true colors. The next morning, headlines were popping up about a prominent local woman involved in financial misconduct. It was only a matter of time before Emily's facade started to crumble publicly. Meanwhile, things at home were getting more intense. Lily was becoming increasingly confused and distressed by the conflicting stories she was hearing. Emily was trying to spin it as a protective move, but I knew Lily was caught in the middle of our toxic mess. One unexpected twist came when I received a call from Sarah, our mutual friend. She had seen the media reports and reached out to me, offering support. I always knew something was off with Emily. "I'm so sorry, Jake," she said, her voice trembling. Her support was a lifeline. With Sarah on my side, more friends began to question Emily's actions. It felt like a snowball effect. Every new piece of information I uncovered brought more people to my side, slowly isolating Emily. But just when I thought things were starting to turn in my favor, Emily struck back. She hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on me, trying to discredit my claims and paint me as the unstable one. The PI surfaced with some old, unrelated issues from my past, trying to undermine my credibility. I wasn't about to let her win. I exposed the PI's attempts to smear my reputation, turning the tables yet again. It was like a high-stakes game of chess, and I was determined to checkmate her. Amid all this chaos, I found myself growing closer to Lily. We spent more time together, rebuilding our bond that Emily had tried to tear apart. Seeing her smile again, knowing she wasn't caught in the crossfire anymore, was the ultimate motivator for everything I was doing. But just as I was gaining ground, life threw another curveball. Emily announced that she was pregnant again. This was beyond infidelity and financial manipulation. It was a power play to secure her position and further destabilize my life. The news sent shockwaves through our social circle, adding another layer of complexity to our already tangled relationship. I realized that Emily wasn't just a manipulative wife, she was a master strategist, always 3 steps ahead. But I was learning to think like her, anticipating her moves and staying one step closer. After Emily announced her pregnancy, the tension skyrocketed. Not only was she trying to secure her position in our lives, but this new baby threatened to deepen the rift between us even further. I knew I had to act quickly to protect Lily and myself from whatever twisted plans Emily had up her sleeve. First off, I reached out to my lawyer, Sarah Thompson. She's been a rock through all of this, offering both legal advice and emotional support. We strategized on how to prevent Emily from gaining any more leverage. One of our key moves was to secure joint custody of Lily, ensuring that Emily couldn't unilaterally make decisions about her future or relocate us without my consent. But the real game changer came unexpectedly. I received an anonymous tip about some shady dealings Emily was involved in beyond what Ryan had already exposed. Turns out, Emily had been skimming money from my business accounts for years, funneling it into offshore accounts to fund her lavish lifestyle and, more alarmingly, her plans to manipulate Lily's future. This was the smoking gun we needed. With this new evidence, Sarah and I prepared to take Emily to court for financial fraud and custodial interference. But Emily wasn't going down without a fight. She doubled down on her lies, trying to portray me as an unfit father and unstable husband. It was a messy, emotionally draining battle, but I was determined to see it through. Meanwhile, an unexpected ally stepped into the picture, Laura, Emily's supposed best friend. I had always thought Laura was in Emily's corner, but it turns out she had her own reasons for distancing herself from Emily's manipulative games. Laura provided me with crucial information about Emily's plans to move Lily out of state, complete with forged documents and falsified signatures. With Laura on my side, our case against Emily gained significant traction. We had enough evidence to not only expose her lies but also dismantle the entire facade she had built. The courtroom battles were intense, with Emily pulling out every trick in the book to try and sabotage my reputation. But with each piece of evidence presented, her lies unraveled a little more. Amidst all this, Lily became my anchor. Seeing her innocent face caught in the crossfire of our toxic relationship broke my heart, but it also fueled my determination. I started spending more quality time with her, rebuilding the trust and connection that Emily had tried so hard to destroy. We went on weekend outings, movie nights, and even started a little father-daughter project, building a treehouse in our backyard. It was our sanctuary, a place where we could escape the madness and just be us. But just when I thought we were making progress, Emily pulled another unexpected move. She tried to secure a restraining order against me, claiming that I was abusive and unstable. It felt like she was bending over backward to make sure I lost everything. But Sarah was relentless. We gathered witness testimonies, character references, and documented every interaction to prove that Emily was the true aggressor. The courtroom drama reached its peak during the final hearing. Emily, dressed impeccably as always, tried to maintain her composure, but the evidence was stacked against her. The judge was stern, clearly unimpressed by her antics, and eventually ruled in our favor. Custody was officially granted to me and Lily, and Emily was ordered to cease all contact unless it was for Lily's welfare. But Emily wasn't done yet. In a last-ditch effort to ruin me, she threatened to reveal some old, embarrassing secrets from my past. This was her final play to discredit me in the eyes of our friends and family. I decided to confront her head-on. Instead of playing into her hands, I chose transparency. I addressed our mutual friends and family, sharing my side of the story and the evidence we had uncovered. It was cathartic and, surprisingly, liberating. The fallout was immediate. Friends who had been on Emily's side started seeing through her lies, realizing the extent of her deceit. Our social circle began to shift, with more people rallying behind me and supporting Lily. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, knowing that justice was finally being served. As for Emily, she tried to salvage her reputation by moving away and starting fresh, but the damage was already done. Her reputation was in tatters, and she found herself isolated, with no one left to support her twisted plans. It was a bittersweet victory, knowing that her actions had caused so much pain, but also feeling a sense of relief and closure. Through all the turmoil, Lily and I grew closer than ever. We learned to navigate this new chapter together, stronger and more resilient. Revenge, in the end, wasn't just about bringing Emily down, it was about reclaiming our lives and building a future free from her manipulation. Just when I thought the chaos had settled and Emily was out of our lives for good, the universe decided it wasn't done messing with me yet. A few weeks after the courtroom victory, I received an anonymous package in the mail. It was small, unassuming, and addressed only to me. I almost didn't open it, thinking it was some leftover drama from Emily's antics, but curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a USB drive and a note, "Jake, you need to see this. It's bigger than you think." I plugged the drive into my laptop, half expecting it to be some kind of prank. What I found instead sent chills down my spine. The files contained detailed records of Emily's financial transactions, but this wasn't just about skimming money from me or Ryan. These were transactions with high-profile individuals, linked to shady dealings far beyond anything I had imagined. Emily wasn't just a manipulative wife, she had been laundering money for years, using my accounts and business as a front. There were names of people I didn't recognize, offshore accounts I'd never heard of, and deals that looked downright criminal. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Emily had been living a double life, and I had been her unknowing pawn. But here's the kicker, the package had come from Ryan. I called him immediately, my voice shaking with anger and confusion. "Ryan, what the hell is this? Why are you sending me this now?" Ryan sighed on the other end of the line. "Jake, I didn't know the full extent of what she was doing until after I left her. I found those files on her laptop when she wasn't looking. I didn't send them earlier because I was scared of what she might do to me. But after seeing how she's torn your life apart, I couldn't stay silent anymore. This wasn't just personal anymore. Emily had been involved in something dangerous, and now I had the proof. The question was, what was I supposed to do with it? Turning her in would mean exposing myself and potentially putting Lily at risk. But keeping quiet felt like letting her win. I reached out to Sarah, my lawyer, and showed her the files. She was stunned but calm. "Jake, this changes everything. If we report this, it could lead to a full-scale investigation. But you need to be prepared for the fallout. Emily isn't going to go down quietly." We decided to proceed cautiously. I contacted a trusted friend in law enforcement and handed over the files anonymously. Within days, the investigation was underway, and Emily's web of lies began to unravel on a much larger scale. Her connections, her transactions, even the people she had roped into her schemes, everything came to light. But Emily wasn't about to go quietly. Somehow, she caught wind of the investigation and decided to confront me directly. One night, as Lily and I were watching a movie in our new place, Emily showed up at the door, unannounced and visibly shaken. "Jake, you don't understand what you've done," she hissed, her eyes wild. "You've ruined everything." I stood my ground, keeping Lily behind me. "No, Emily. You ruined everything. All I did was expose the truth." She laughed bitterly. "You think this is over? You have no idea who you're dealing with. The people I worked with, they don't play games. You've put us all in danger." For the first time, I saw genuine fear in Emily's eyes, and it chilled me to the core. Was this just another manipulation, or was there a real threat looming over us? Emily's words haunted me long after she stormed out. If what she said was true, then exposing her might have put Lily and me in harm's way. But backing down wasn't an option. I had come too far to let fear control me now. As the investigation gained traction, Emily disappeared. Rumors circulated that she had fled the country, leaving behind a trail of chaos and unanswered questions. I hoped it was the last we'd see of her, but deep down, I knew better. After Emily disappeared, things were quiet, for a while. I focused on Lily, rebuilding our lives, and trying to give her the stability she deserved. We moved into a new house, far from the old memories, and started fresh. She even made new friends and started smiling again. For the first time in what felt like forever, we were happy. But Emily wasn't done with us. I woke up one night to my phone buzzing. Unknown number. I ignored it at first, but it kept ringing. Eventually, I picked up, expecting a wrong number. Instead, it was Emily's voice. "Jake," she whispered. "They're coming for you." I froze. "Who? What are you talking about? You don't get it." Her voice cracked. "I thought I could control them, but I can't. They know you turned in the files. You need to leave. Now." Before I could get more out of her, the line went dead. I didn't know whether to believe her or not. Emily was a master manipulator, and this could have been another one of her sick games. But something in her voice, panic, fear, made me take it seriously. I grabbed Lily, packed a bag, and we checked into a motel that night. I didn't sleep. My mind raced through worst-case scenarios. Had Emily's shady dealings put us in danger? Was this just paranoia, or was there really someone coming after us? The next morning, I got my answer. I went back to the house to grab a few more things and found the front door kicked in. Drawers were open, furniture overturned. Someone had been looking for something, or someone. I called the police, but they treated it like a random burglary. I knew better. The files I handed over had exposed some dangerous people, and Emily had been their puppet. Now she was on the run, and I was the loose end. But I wasn't about to roll over and let these people destroy my life again. With Sarah's help, I contacted federal authorities and gave them everything I had: emails, texts, financial records. I went into full survival mode, working with law enforcement to protect Lily and make sure these people couldn't touch us. A few days later, I got another call, this time from Ryan. "They found her," he said, his voice shaking. "Emily's dead." It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. For all the anger I had toward her, hearing those words hit me hard. Emily might have been a liar, a cheater, and a manipulator, but she was still the mother of my child. Details were sparse, but it looked like Emily had tried to flee the country and got tangled up with the wrong people. Whether it was payback for crossing them or just bad luck, I'll never know. Lily took the news hard. I did my best to shield her from the ugliest parts, but there's only so much you can hide. I told her the truth, at least the parts that wouldn't destroy her, and we leaned on each other to get through it. In the end, the investigation into Emily's crimes took down several of her associates, but not all of them. I still get this nagging feeling sometimes, like someone's watching, waiting. Maybe it's just paranoia, or maybe Emily's mess left stains that can't be cleaned. But here's what I do know, I fought like hell for my daughter, and I won. We're safe now, or as safe as we can be. Lily's growing up to be smart, strong, and independent. She's not defined by her mom's mistakes, and neither am I. Revenge wasn't just about taking Emily down. It was about reclaiming my life, our lives. And while the scars from this whole ordeal will never fully fade, they remind me of how far we've come.